What's happening, folks? Jero here, aka J490, coming at you with another reaction, another Whitney Houston reaction. I'm very happy and excited to do. I did not plan. This was not on the list of reactions to do tonight, but the estate just dropped another unreleased Whitney song from the forthcoming album, I Go to the Rock. This song is called He Can Use Me, and I'm very excited. I've been listening to Testimony so much. I love that song to death, and that was so I had. That was I'm so grateful I did a reaction to that because that was a pure thing of I hadn't really listened to a Whitney vocal that young in a full recording that way. You know, I've heard the first recording, "Life's a Party," that's Sissy and Whitney, but I don't really know that one by heart. And it's been quite actually a few years since I've heard that, and I don't know which came first between "Life's a Party" and "Testimony," but I think they're probably around the same time. But I just "Testimony" is great. So with this one, I have no clue. There's been no information yet on when this one came out or anything yet. So I guess hopefully by the time this is up, which should be today, Friday, then maybe there'll be something. But either way, very excited to lay raw ears on something else of Whitney I've never heard. You know, very exciting. You never know what it's gonna be, but I know it's gonna be sung well. So anyway, excited to get to this. But before we do, need you guys to go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Now, without further ado, this is Whitney Houston with "He Can Use Me."
I wanna live. I wanna live so that God can use me anytime.
So right off the bat, I'm gonna imagine probably the same session or timing as Testimony. I kept calling it Testify in the last video. She sounds very, very young. It has that rawness of, like I say, baby sissy. That's what it sounds like. So, but still that Whitney tone and esque and elegance. So, back to it.
Mm-hmm. World, yes, so the Lord will walk with me, yeah, oh yes, yeah, I wanna talk.
Talk, girl. Hold on. Let me catch my breath for it. Woo! That's what I love this. I love this. This is because this isn't even just her gospel. It's like a blues song, and she doesn't have very many songs in this field where that's This is great. I'm gonna rewind that last part. That ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. The goosebumps. They stay and then they get bumpier. It's like wow, they are consistent. This is great.
Yeah, uh-huh. Oh, yes. Yeah. I wanna talk. Uh-huh. Just knowing that the Lord will talk with me. Yes, he will. Uh-huh. Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah, yes. I wanna live. Yeah, yes. I wanna live. Yeah, yes. So that he can use me. He can use me. Yes. Anytime. Yes. Anytime. Yes. Anywhere. Yeah. Anywhere. Yes. He can use me. Anytime and anywhere. What I want. So he can use me. Anytime and anywhere. He can use me. Anytime. Anytime and anywhere. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Anytime and anywhere. Yeah, 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 yeah. Anytime and anywhere. Yeah, yeah, anytime. I know the Lord will use me anytime, and anywhere. Anytime and
Woo!
anywhere. I know he will use me anytime and anywhere. Oh, yes, I love the Lord anytime and anywhere. Yeah, yeah, I know anytime. Yeah, yeah, anytime and anywhere.
Oh my god. I don't know what to say. Wow. That's where we start. Wow. Wow. Truly, undeniably, one of, arguably, the best voice of our time. My God. Woo, hoo, hoo. Wow. Okay, so that that moved me to my marrow. that moved me down to that reached through the blood, reached through the veins, reached through the arteries to reached through the bones. That shook the marrow. And then this is a whole realm of Whitney we weren't privy to before this stuff. Like, who's that young girl? Who's that girl with that? Yeah. Who's that girl with that? What the hell? What? Excuse my language for a gospel reaction. My sweet Lord. I don't even. I'm trying to find. I'm not coherent tonight. That was very special. That was wow. I'm shook it. I'm shook it to my core. That's Whitney Elizabeth Houston. Whitney Elizabeth the Houston. My goodness, my goodness. One of my favorite. You know what? I will say what I got to add. That clapping at the end there, it also touched my heart. It took me back in time. I speak about a few times that for those of you who maybe this is your first Whitney reaction, um, Whitney's voice, Whitney and me, Whitney's voice and me, Whitney's songs and me go back to the playpen days. My grandmother used to watch me until I started preschool. Me and my sister, she used to do it for a lot of our siblings, and she had a rule at her place while you're in the playpen, because our mom would drop us off there at like around 7 or 8 in the morning. No TV until I think 10 or 11 a.m. I think 11. That sounds right. Maybe 10. But she would have it on the Smooth Jazz, V98.7, Smooth Jazz, an R&B radio station. It'd be smooth R&B in the morning and no TV. So, in that time, I got accustomed to a lot of, Patti LaBelle, Aretha Franklin, Luther Vandross, Jeffrey Osborne, Tony Braxton, and Whitney Houston. And Whitney was the only voice of those that me and my sister were like 17 months apart. We'd be playing, we're like twins and like 3 and 4 literally, and if Whitney came on, shh, Whitney's on, play by yourself. She was genuinely one of my first favorite artists in life, period. The adorable video of the twins reacting to I Will Always Love You, that was me. That was me. Because my childhood was when I Will Always Love You was taking over the radio. Like, I remember hearing it daily, and I remember being wowed by it daily. And I'm proud to say that where this story comes into play, my story links with Whitney in the very first thing I've done outside of doing reactions. I'm also an actor and performer and all that stuff. The very first set I ever worked on in my life was the movie Sparkle, filming in Detroit. I was there for 3 days in November 2011. Time. And I met Whitney. We shared an aisle for the end scene with Jordan Sparks in the red dress, and we shared the aisle. She was on this side of the aisle, I was on that side. My side of the aisle got completely cut from the movie, but I found the B-roll footage and put in, yeah. So in the B-roll footage, you can see me for a split second, but we shared, and me and Whitney had 2 moments. That's a whole other video, but I got to tell her everything I ever wanted to say, and we got to have a real moment. We got to have a real moment. And I got, my cousin was there and she was a witness to that. But anyway, back to the clapping just reminded me of the Jordan Sparks song, the end, and the clapping. You know what was so fun about that is that there was so much of the day filming the Jordan Sparks performances for that movie, for that scene. If you don't know anything about what it's like to be on those sets for musical scenes and all that, we're talking 10 to 14 hour days of listening to the same one, if you're lucky, 2 songs. I was there when they did Giving Them Something He Can Feel. That was like a 12-hour day with the same song. But this one, this one was Jordan's 2 songs in the red dress, and with one wing, and we had to do that clap like that. And that's what that reminded me of. And it took me back in time. Like, very special. Very special. Detroit Opera House. That will forever be very special. I think that was November 13th, 2011. Came home and I met Whitney. Whitney hugged me, kissed me right here on the cheek. Never forget that in my life. Never forget that. So anyway, but it just goes to, I'm sorry this is so long too, but what gospel meant to her. Like I say, when Whitney sang gospel, she meant every syllable of what she was saying. She meant everything she was saying when she was singing gospel or when she was talking about her faith. She did not play. She did not play when it came to her seriousness about her faith. So, and it shows. It shows. So, whew. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this project. So, thank you all for watching and listening to that little story time there and to the importance of what Whitney means for me. Like, anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this reaction, this video. If you did, please go ahead and like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. In the description below, you'll find all the social medias you can follow me on. You'll find my Patreon. I would love to have you guys on Patreon too. If you'd like to tip or donate, that will be appreciated too. Very appreciated. And then just lastly, thank you all so much for even taking the time to push play on this video here today. That means so much to me, and it goes a very long way. And beyond everything else, you guys, please take care of yourselves and each other.